What's up, it's your boy the Knologist. We're back with another episode of Code Study Sesh and OSRS AFK training. Alright, let's get back to it. So we pretty much created the query here, so now we're going to go back to our main.go monolith architecture. And then we go to this, add a get API chirps. Get API chirps endpoint that returns all the chirps of the database. Okay. It should return the same structure as post API chirps. Okay. But as an array. Okay. Use status 200 code error. Okay, so basically an array of objects. Admin metrics. Retrieve all chirps. Oh wait, before I do all this, let me commit, because I want to start from a strong place. Create Okay, now let's do that. Basically building the API to retrieve all the data, and then we're probably going to do a singleton next. Which in itself isn't that bad. What's the difficulty on this? Oh, he put it as level 9. Well, it should be the same as the other one, so I'm not sure why it would be that bad. Okay, get all chirps, API chirps, endpoint, return them in the same structure, but as an array, use a 200 status code. Handler reset, handler metrics, and it should follow the same structure as post API chirps. Post API chirps. So if we go hit command, oh, it doesn't let us go to it. Go to function. Okay, so it's not built into this one, I guess. Maybe because I'm not using it, it's all in a monolith. There's no instances of the function. It goes to API CFG handle func. Then I can go API CFG, because right now this points to the API CFG structure. Platform queries, then this is API CFG handler create chirp. So that's my logic. Post API chirps, post API chirps, post API chirps, handler create chirp. Post API chirps, handler create chirp. Handler create chirp. So this would be handler get all. It's a pretty big function. Handler get all. And it's usually the same shit, so it's gonna be W. It should return them in the same structure. Okay, so I need to somehow get all these chirps. How do we do this? Because the other ones was parameter body, then it maps items decoded into this. But this would be parameters, maybe array. Not 100% sure on how to do this, so the next thing to do would be, oh wait, I don't need my notes, quite cute. Use status code 200 for success. Order them by created at. Which makes sense, I get that part. But right now I'm trying to query for these items. So I already created the query for get all chirps. It's going to be get all. Save that. Get all chirps. Technically it would be chirp response, but it would be in an array. I'm not 100% sure how to do this. So this is why we will use AI. I wish they really went into how to do this stuff more effectively, because right now it's kind of a struggle. I'd rather a course on how to do everything first and then challenge the knowledge, because it's supposed to be a structured way to learn. And I already kind of do this on my own time, like the actual search for the answer on Google, but like I prefer a way to just learn it directly. Okay, so let's feed it this. Nice, you're all set. We just need to wire up the chirps. Okay, so this is a get many relationship. Add the query in queries.sql. Okay, so let's go to queries.sql. So go.env, load the env file. DB URL, platform, database queries, DB queries. SQLC generate. Okay, so SQLC generate will generate the queries. So let's take a look right now at my actual code. It should create something in the database, I think, for that, which would be the get all chirps. But let's try SQLC generate. What does that do? Yes, there it is. Okay, so now Golang creates a relationship to the database tables for get all chirps. This is perfect. And as you can see, code generated by SQLC, do not edit. Okay, so it's clear. Fill in the handler. Yeah, pretty much once you have what you need, it shouldn't be that bad. It's just that the chirp response, what I was looking at earlier, was for an original one. Now we need an array of chirp responses. Okay, this is amazing. It's starting to make more sense. I think as I do more and more of these, it'll become easier over time. I took the most valuable things from here. This guy dropped a bunch of stuff on the ground. That's kind of the benefit of AFKing. You just end up seeing stuff on the ground that's worth a lot. Okay, so now we need to wire this up. So basically there's supposed to be some sort of structure, and this is what I got wrong earlier. So basically response, I was thinking I would have to do some sort of type, but in actuality we just have to run the query. So run the query. So right now there's a create user params decode, so handle create user params. Based on the email we have to send a request. But with this case, since we're doing a general get all, we don't have to send anything. So what we have to do is slightly different. So we just go directly to the queries. So now we go chirps and error. Queries dot get all chirps. It should be called get all chirps, I think. Whatever's in here, get all chirps is the value. Oh, it's a lowercase. Oh, const get all chirps is this, but get all chirps is here. Function queries get all chirps. Because if you want a function to be external, it needs to be capital lettered in Go. What's my other one? This is new decoder decode. I'm not trying to decode. Right now I'm trying to yeah, there it is. Okay, so get all, create user, our context. Is it gonna be our context as well? Our context. So request.context, and if there's an error, return probably, and then I would have her respond with error like the other one, and it could not get chirps, handle status internal server error. Okay, so respond with error. Is it single or double quotes? Double. Okay. The next thing we need to do is this. We need to map the response. So response is what we get here, resp. And then this would be an array of what? Array of single chirp responses. So chirp response like this. It's probably going to be the same thing for the singleton, except I'll actually have to map to get one. I think for the collection we could be a bit more general. ID created at, updated at. So ID created at, updated at, and it would be CH. So it would follow the same structure basically as what's above. Pretty much like this. String, string. It follows the same convention as handle, create, chirp. Because we're getting individual items. So for thing in range chirps, because this gets you back a collection. And then we have to fill each item in that collection. Because there could be more data. This just maps what we want from each piece. Yeah, items chirp. So it returns an array of items basically back from there, and then it has these, if error rows.scan, it's got all the fields. What happens if it's successful? 200 status code, okay. We'd probably do the same thing as this. So respond with JSON, status created, status retrieved. What's the status for this? W and then response. Status okay should be good enough for this. Then I just run, so it'd be clear, go build. You can't get too caught up in the syntactical details because they always change. At a high level, I just need to understand what's going on, which is I make a request for a collection of items in an array. I get that array back, and then I populate each item of that array with the fields that I want. And that's based on the mapping of each created chirp. And 16 line 8. Respect the comma. Oh, for loop. What does it have here? Oh, it'd be append chirp response. Okay. Because we have to create the object. So response, append, resp, chirp response. So chirps, this is the loop. Then we go to resp. Append to itself. which is response. Then it would be chirp. So go through each item of here and then return it here based on the mapping. So now we have these, so chirp response is already built up thing here. Then we do this, Control X. That makes sense. Now we go back. Should work. Okay, status okay. Why is status okay not working now? Sort of used in other areas. So let's get some more of this. There should be a status okay somewhere. Status created. Yeah, HTTP status okay. Why can't I use it? Oh, HTTP dots. I'm dead. This should be the correct way to use it. That's fine. Now I can do this. That should be done. This should work. This is a repeatable function, so I can run it as many times as I want. Sweet. And if I run it as a submit, it shouldn't create any. I know if you guys were looking at the last lesson, I had to post requests, so it would have conflicting IDs if I post the same item. That's why it won't let you do it twice in a row. You have to clear your database, but in this case it's a get request. So I can get infinite amounts of times without it interfering. Get chirp. Now you want to look up a single chirp. Why do I need a way to just get one? Imagine if there's 10,000, 10 million. We have to get one specific one. Okay. This is where the singleton comes in. But we will do this in the next lesson, so stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts. Peace.